So, after a slight mishap with a bell as an alarm on this trapdoor, which is now followed all the way down, and everyone within basically the confines of this house outside, and probably whatever is down there, definitely heard that. So,
alright.
What now?
Gonna stop and listen, see if there's a response to that. And while that's happening, can you get your little kitty cat Alice out for a second?
Okay, summon Alice, yep.
And have a sniff, because if they've been storing dead bodies down here, there should definitely be a smell.
Okay, so you are making a perception check, and so is she. If memory serves, her perception is +4, but I just want to double check. I wrote that down here. Perception is +3. Stealth is +4. Alright, 18 for her perception check.
I have a 20.
You have a 20. Another natural 20? No? Okay. It's just like, went from 1 to 20.
Yeah, I know.
Alright.
The one was just irritating.
Alright, and now... you hear some hurried movement below and then a oof, as if... and that's it. That moment there.
Oh, he moved and then went oof.
Yeah. You also heard a bit of an impact, so they may have run into something.
Okay.
Okay. And
The bell.
you don't see anyone moving at the base of the ladder.
Okay.
And and Alice informs me that there's a definite scent of decay down there, and it's lingering.
Right. Well, that's not a surprise.
All right. So basically, the only thing you can see down into this ladder, which goes down about only 30 feet, is just the ladder itself and the base of that, because that's being illuminated by the bit of sunlight that's coming through the cracks in the windows in here.
Okay, so it's dark down there, right?
There's a bit of light in that one, in this, just down the shaft, but that's about it. It's dim light.
Okay. I'm going to have my owl look down with her dark vision.
Your owl's currently on the roof. Do you summon her?
Yeah.
Here, okay.
I'm going to have her look down there.
Okay. Your owl doesn't see anything really. He sees the bell that fell down there, sees the ladder.
Okay.
It's a sandy floor, basically, a little bit.
And what are the walls made of?
It looks like they've been reinforced slightly, but they're mostly just dirt.
Okay, so someone just dug a
Tunnel.
cellar here and reinforced it with like wooden beams and things.
Yeah.
And it's just a room. There's no corridor.
It's basically almost like a landing, and it looks like it goes on a little bit.
Alright.
So looks like it might be a bit of a tunnel.
Okay, I guess we're going to go down.
Okay.
I'm going to cast a light cantrip on a little cap on the end of my staff. Stick that down the hole.
Should we send one of our familiars down first? To just take a look. Your owl can fly down to the bottom rung of the ladder and look.
Owls don't hover well.
No, but just flap down to and land on the rung, the bottom rung there.
Okay. I will...
Okay. So you do that after casting light on your staff?
Yep.
Alright. So your owl floats down.
Yep.
Clings to the rung, and I'm going to have her make a perception check. 20.
Not a bench.
Alright, let's the corridor goes the tunnel, basically, which is just only about 6 feet across, so we'll probably have to go down a single file, you know. It has the ceiling is about 10 feet tall, which is likely done to accommodate the large figure that came through here.
Yeah.
It goes down well past your owl's dark vision range, which is 60 feet, I believe.
Oh, okay. And nothing visible in that?
There was a faint flicker would look like firelight, and your owl just spots it just as it's being put out.
So they had something going, and then now they're aware.
Yeah.
All right, that makes sense.
That's all your owl can see from that.
All right, I will pop my owl out of existence.
All right. I said, are we? Well, if we're going down there, are we?
Well, it seems like something we should do. I'm just thinking of any prep before that.
You are well aware that the light cantrip will give off enough light to basically give them quite a target in that darkness.
Yes, I know. Well, they know we're coming.
Yep.
I think we have a bit of time anyway. I'm going to ritual cast Unseen Servant.
Okay, so that's going to take 10 minutes.
Yep, I want to give them I want them to worry a little bit for starters.
Mm-hmm.
And secondly, I want to, be prepared for this.
All right, so you take 10 minutes.
I'm going to take the cap off my end of my staff that has light spell on it.
Yep.
And I give it to my Unseen Servant.
All right, your Unseen Servant unseemly takes it.
Yep. And I have it go down the stairs and start walking along the corridor.
It goes down the ladder, which you can do with ease.
Yep.
All right, and you're going to have it go down the corridor.
Yeah. I think my range on Unseen Servant is 60 feet.
Is that the range it can be in with from you, or is that just the range to summon it, though?
I don't know.
I'm going to bring up the rules here for a second. Unseen Servant. Yep. Visible. Tasks. Yeah, so it has to stay within 60 feet of you.
Alright.
It has a movement of 15 feet around.
Yeah. So once it's gone down, say about 50 feet from me, I have it stop.
Yeah.
Anything happening?
Alright, let's... I just have you make a perception check.
That will be a 10.
You can't make out the words, but you think something is being whispered down there.
Alright.
And... let's see here. Yeah. You hear a twink, and you feel your Unseen Servant perish.
Alright.
And then a bolt basically clattered to the ground. And
So someone fired a crossbow bolt through my Unseen Servant.
yes.
And at that point, my little metal cap that goes on my staff will
Hits the
drop
ground.
to the ground.
Yep.
And then I'm gonna listen again, just for another short period of time, just to see if someone's gonna come up and investigate this.
You can make a perception check if you want.
Two plus 1.
Alright. Wasn't a great roll, but that's not that bad.
3 is a good roll.
What? I said they rolled poorly, but not that bad.
No, alrighty. So, I think we have to go down.
Yeah. You... Alright, so you're going to go down?
Quietly.
All right.
Try not to make any noise on these double stairs.
Well, only one of us can go down at a time.
I'll go first.
Okay.
I have a 16 for stealth.
That's cocked. That's not very good. Okay.
Once I'm at the bottom.
So we make it to the bottom.
Yep.
And you see a figure kind of hunched over, looking down, and holding up the cap, which has your light cantrip cast on it, and has a short sword in one hand, and is dressed in looks like studded leather armor, and is wearing a dark cloak. Has not noticed you.
So this is the individual who shot my innocent little unseen servant, I assume.
Make a perception check.
Uh, 14.
You see the short sword in hand, and you see a dagger and a scabbard. You do not see a crossbow on this person.
Is this a human-sized person, or shorter, bigger?
Definitely humanoid. Looks human.
Yeah. Interesting.
Right.
How far away from the cap?
Holding the cap in their hand, looking down.
How far away am I from it?
They are about, we'll say, 20 feet from where you just stepped down. They didn't notice you descend, though, yet. But you know that you have a limited window before they obviously look up and see you.
Well, I'm going to go around the corner a little bit, and I'm going to try and hide. This is silly. Yeah, forget it. I am going to cast Firebolt.
You're going to hit them with Firebolt, okay? Roll your attack roll at advantage because they do not know you're there. And we'll be rolling for initiative after this.
That'll be a 17 to hit.
17 to... 17 hits.
Right.
Roll damage.
That'll be for 5 points of damage.
5 points of damage. Alright. The Firebolt whizzes down, they hear the activation, look up, and you hit them right in the shoulder.
Yep.
And they drop the cap that has your light on it.
Yep.
And they ready the sword, and their hand goes to the dagger, and we're rolling for initiative. Oh! I have a natural 1. Plus 1. For all the good it's going to do.
I have a 19.
19.
So what do you have?
Natural 1.
A 1. What about this thief-style character?
Yeah, 1 second, I'm just setting up everything here. Alright. Next in line is... 18.
There you go.
I'm just gonna set everything up here.
Yep.
So you did 5 damage. Alright. See what's gonna happen here. And then at a 2, there's me.
Yeah, I think you might be going last.
I'm definitely going last by a substantial margin.
Yep.
Alright, so you hit them with this figure of the firebolt, drops the metal cap, goes for a dagger and draws it out, but further down the passage you hear the sound of someone speaking, and it sounds like a spell being cast. At this moment, you realize there's someone else down here, and they rolled higher initiative than you.
Oh.
But that's all that happens.
19, wow. Right.
Literally rolled a 19 on initiative. But that is all that happens, and then we come to your turn. You hear the spell being cast in the distance.
Arcana check.
Oh, okay.
Is that going to take my action if I do recognize it?
You will say this is your bonus action if you want.
21.
You recognize the spell because you know it. You recognize this is the spell Invisibility being cast.
How far away did it... Like, alright, they're obviously holding my light spell.
Yes, which is 20 feet away from you, which means you can see a full 60 feet. The light illuminates 60 feet down the corridor, and the tunnel keeps going.
And I didn't see anything in there before the spell went on.
No, it was in the distance further than that.
Alright, I'm going to cast Magic Missile on this guy. Oh, sorry, I'm going to point my wand down and just use a charge.
Okay, so you're issuing a charge for your Magic Missile wand, okay?
Yeah. That'll be for 10 points of damage.
Okay, does not like that.
And I'm hiding as much as I can around the corner. I just had to stick my wand out.
Okay, so you basically have half cover, leaning around, looking and unleashing the wand. Okay.
Yep.
Alright, and that's your turn? You're not going to move at all?
I'm going to let you know that, what's going on.
I heard the firebolt and magic missile, so I know what's going on.
Yeah.
But I am definitely last in the initiative, so it took me a little bit by surprise.
Yeah. Alright.
Alright, now we come to the rogue in front of you. Alright, is somewhat, you can see is visibly annoyed that he was taken by surprise, because that's his job. And draws out the dagger, and it's a nasty looking piece of work. It is not a standard dagger.
No.
No. It's got a very keen, sharp edge, and it comes to almost like a needle point. And it's definitely one that is designed for throwing. This is not a standard dagger.
Okay.
Alright, what are you going to do? So frustrated, he's just going to move up into melee with you. Taking the short sword and the dagger in hand.
Okay.
And is going to make an attack at you with each.
Alright.
So the short sword first. 18 to hit.
Oh, that hits.
Alright. You take, that's minimum damage on the die. You take 5 points of slashing damage.
You said that's minimum?
You roll a 1.
Wow.
And then the dagger. I think that's a miss. Yeah, it's an 11.
Yeah, that is.
Which, you get an even closer look at it, though, as it just does not look nice.
No.
But so, it didn't hit you. So, he's looking around, trying to think, just... Yep, just gonna stay there. Like, he shouts over his shoulder, "Are you gonna get up here and help?"
My thoughts exactly, but in a different direction.
Well, the good news is, he's moved up.
Yes.
So I can see him now.
Yeah.
Alright. Not really I wasn't really hiding, but his attention was drawn, so I'm going to hit him with Magic Missile at 2nd level.
Alright.
From my vantage point. Up here, though. Oh, this is sad. 2, 2, 1. One more. 2, 2, 2, 1. So that's a grand total of 11 points of damage.
Adds up. He's taking 26 points of damage, so it's not bad.
Yeah, but that's kind of a sad on 4d4 that all of them were half or under. But yes, it's still palpable. He's taken some damage, and you're seeing signs of injuries, and definitely a definite flight or fright presence. Now he's outnumbered and being hit with spells from all sides. This is not a good situation for a rogue to be in.
Oh, not their preference, that's for sure.
Yeah. And that's just the first round. I'm going to use my movement to come down the ladder.
Alright.
So I'm also standing right at the ladder, which means anyone's gonna have difficulty getting up. But that's my turn.
Okay.
Okay. So we come to the top of the round.
Yes. Just Mr. or Mrs. Invisible. We're a long way off.
Yep. Nothing apparent happens, so we come to your turn.
Did I hear it and I listened? Because I heard the spell, and I am listening to see if I'm here trying to hear.
You can make your perception check as a bonus action again if you want.
Perception will be. I don't have perception. That's 20.
What? Even with that's quite good. Let's see. No, this one's ironically this one's not as stealthy as the other. You heard movement in the distance. That's it.
Can I get a rough distance on that?
It's pushing a bit much at this point because you'd have to actually stop and think and calculate. You're in the middle of a fight.
I understand. That's fine. I heard something. That's all that really matters.
Yeah, you heard something in the movement in the distance, and you still have a guy with a short sword and a dagger right in your face, suddenly realizing he's outnumbered.
Yes. Alright. I'm gonna take a bit of a gamble here. Because I am concerned about that invisible guy more than I am with this thief. I am going to cast a second level spell.
What spell are you casting?
Casting web.
Okay, you're casting web.
Not here.
So I assume you're going to maneuver.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna swing around this guy because he's a melee with me, right?
Yes, so you can maneuver in his range without leaving it if you want.
Yeah, so I just want to have a nice clear look down the corridor.
Okay, so web's range is 60 feet. So that's basically almost at the end. So your light just illuminates just past that point a little bit, and there's still darkness.
Yes, I'm going to fill that corridor full of webs.
Okay.
I'm not trying to get him.
No, which is good because you have to get both of us.
Yes, I am going to aim it down so there's a good 20-foot gap between where they start and then the rest of it's filled down the corridor.
Okay. So it's a 20-foot cube. So as for the rules of placing a cube, you pick the point of origin, which is one of its sides.
Okay, so I picked the closest side.
Yeah.
Be 20 feet down the corridor for me.
Okay, so you are filling the area, including where your light thing is.
Yes.
With what? All right, so you fill the area with.
Yep.
So you cast a spell, and a tiny little rolling ball of silk expands out before it explodes into a 20-foot cube of spider webbing, which is 5 foot, anchoring itself to the 5 foot deep and anchoring itself to the walls. And it fills a 20-foot cube. And the ceiling. Yep. So it fills this tunnel perfectly because the tunnel is definitely not 20 feet across. And it's not 20 foot high, so there's dense amounts of webbing down there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyone who wants to come through that is going to need to do something about it.
Yeah. Alright. And that's your turn, basically.
Yep.
Unless you want to move back, you moved like 10 feet.
No, I want him to stay within his melee range. That's fine.
Yeah. Okay. You also have cut off a point of egress for him.
Yeah, I am, and that is what I'm going to tell him right now.
Mm-hmm.
Look behind you, buddy. You can't get away now, and your backup is not going to get here. I'm just trying to intimidate him a little bit. Actually, I'm gonna make that a roll.
You can if you want. I'll let that, yeah.
8.
What's that? So 8 total?
Yeah.
He's not too concerned, but he's very frustrated that this is not a situation in which he's any good in.
Yep, no advantage, no nothing.
No advantage, no sneak attack, nothing. Nope. But he's very frustrated, and he sees you in front of him, and you're a target for his frustration, so he's going to make 2 more attacks.
Yeah.
Because that's all he can really do.
I'm not happy about that either.
Apparently he's very frustrated. That's a 22 to hit.
Hits.
This is the short sword again. You take 7 points of slashing damage, is going up, but
Well, wiggling on me.
you're taking damage, yes. And the other, that's an 18 to hit this time.
Yep,
So
there it is.
that's with the dagger. Which is, I think, I should just... Wait a second. Wait. One moment. I think I got the damage wrong. I did, yeah, sorry. Sorry, I took 6 points of damage from the short sword.
Does that mean the 5 last time was a 4?
No. I accidentally added 5 to this roll instead of 4. So you're actually higher, and then you're taking 6 damage from this.
From the dagger?
Yeah.
Alright.
You're at 19 hit points, yeah. And yeah, it goes through, but fortunately, it hurts about as much as a dagger in the hands of a rogue should. And you're not having to make any constitution saving throws or anything, so...
Not poison.
That-
There we go. Okay.
Okay, very tight quarters in here, I say, as it comes to my turn.
Yeah.
I see you taking a lot of damage from this guy.
Yeah, I did other things than casting mirror image.
Yeah. This is
I was really concerned about that invisible person coming up.
Unfortunately, I prepared Frostfinger and it's completely useless in these confined spaces. Without hitting you. So I can't do that. I can hit him with Magic Missile. Should I give him disadvantage or should we just try and kill him, is the question.
Kill him.
Sorry for technical difficulties. I said I was going to cast Magic Missile just at first level because there's definitely someone else down here, as you pointed out, so try to conserve some high level spell slots. And I somehow do better with the first level spell. Alright, so that's 7, 9, 12 points of force damage.
Wow.
He's taken a beating. He's definitely... He's past the point of being bloody to this point, and he's looking at me, he's looking at the web down there, and he's just massively unhappy. You can see the fear in his eye kicking in at this point. And I'm not moving from my position.
38 points of damage. Yeah, that's a serious load.
Yeah, he's got some toughness to him, but this is not a fight in his favor. Alright, so back to the top of the round.
Yes, what's Mr. Invisible doing?
Okay. You don't hear anything. Your turn.
Alright, that's fine.
You may have... Well, you definitely cut off... There may not... actually, we don't know if there's another exit from here.
Well, I know I've stalled him at least.
Yeah.
That's all I really cared about.
It's your turn. You have also taken a beating from this assassin or rogue, whatever.
Alright, I am bonus actioning to pick up a healing potion.
Okay.
I have 3 of them, I'm going to take 1.
2d4 plus 2.
And I gain back 6 hit points.
Undid one of his stabs.
Yep. And then, I'm going to try and finish him off with my wand. I am going to... Magic Missile.
How many charges? Okay.
He looks really hurt, right?
He's fairly damaged, yeah.
Oh, that's a terrible Magic Missile. 7 points of damage.
I mean, it does damage to him. He's still standing, but He's
No,
going to.
pathetic.
He's got to try something at this point, basically, is what. And we come to his turn now.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. He is actually going to sheathe both his weapons.
Yep.
Use his bonus action to use cunning action to disengage. There's no attack of opportunity, so he dodges just out of the way of melee. And it's all going to come down to an acrobatics check here, I think.
Trying to go up the stairs.
He's going to try and leap over me.
Alright.
I do not think that's going to work. Acrobatics, what do you have? Does plus 6. 11 is not high enough. He attempts to leap, use me as a stepping stone, and kind of just collides with me.
And that leaves you.
And knocks me to the ground, unfortunately.
No. Oh, you don't care.
No. So that was his action. He also falls prone and has to use half his movement to stand,
Yep.
and is then going to go up 15 feet up the ladder. So it's
Halfway up the ladder.
that's all he can do.
And it's your turn.
And it's my turn.
Finish him off.
I'm going to stand. I'm going to take a step back. And then I'm going to hit him with a magic missile.
Alright.
For the third time. Oh yeah, that's seriously the second level one was somehow worse.
So what did you do this time?
That is a grand total of 11 points of damage. I hurl all the bolts into his back. You see his hands give way and he falls to the ground.
So he collapses?
He collapses. He is unconscious and suffering from internal bleeding. From all the bolts hitting him.
Okay. Back to the top of the round.
Yes, because
Did he roll down the stairs? Because he was halfway up the ladder?
it's a ladder, so he loses his grip and falls to the ground at our feet.
And top of the round, do I hear anything coming down that corridor?
Just one moment. I need to check one thing.
Alright.
Okay. So yeah, he's landed there. You do not hear anything from down the corridor.
Okay, when it's my turn,
Yeah. We have his concentration, so you can break concentration if you want
what?
on the web spell.
Oh, no, I don't want to.
Okay.
Alright, I'm going to go to him.
At the moment, we're not in combat.
Alright. Alright, I'm going to go up to him, and I am going to stabilize his wounds.
You're going to use a medicine check to stabilize him. Okay.
We need a witness. That is a 13 plus 2 plus 1, so 16.
He is stabilized, but unconscious.
Alright. I'm going to take some rope out and make sure he's thoroughly bound.
I'm going to take his weapons away from him.
Okay.
Okay.
Anything else on him? See, now we're not doing anything specific at the moment.
But he's got the studded leather armor.
Yeah, I don't care about that.
He's got a key on him.
That I'll take.
Yeah. He has a bag of gold on him, which comes to... One second. Comes to about 250 gold pieces in there.
Okay.
He's being paid to do something.
True enough.
But those are the only things we find on him.
Okay. So, there's no sound coming from down the corridor. He's tied up.
Yep.
Someone might just be waiting it out.
Could be. Now that we've had a chance to search him, we definitely know that the crossbow bolt did not come from him.
Yes. And web lasts...
Concentration up to an hour.
Oh, well, that's exactly the same time as invisibility.
Yep. 1 second, I have to roll. I suppose if you're a medicine check, you wouldn't know this. He's going to be out for quite some time. 4 hours, in fact. Because when you stabilize someone, they're still unconscious for a number 1d4 hours.
Alright, we have two choices. And...
I just want to point out one thing. It says, there are at least 2 other members of this group who are out, who may be coming back at some point.
Yes, they are going to go look for us. Well, I think we're going to have to take a chance here. I'm only down 11 hit points, that's not so bad. I'm going to cast Firebolt at the webs.
You're gonna you can just... That's a concentration spell. You can drop concentration, the web goes away.
Yeah, but I'm not entirely sure that he wasn't caught in it.
Okay, you are going to cast a firebolt at the web.
Yeah.
Don't bother rolling, because it's not possible to miss this thing.
It is kind of big. And then if I did miss, I can just throw another one in there.
Yeah. Alright, so the web begins to burn.
Yeah.
So it catches fire easily, and it starts to burn. It burns away. I believe it's about 5 feet. A 5-foot cube of it burns away every round.
Yeah, per round, yeah.
Okay. So it starts to burn away. Start waiting around. Keep
Yeah, just
burning.
wait for it to all burn.
Okay, so...
Or I hear a scream.
Okay. So the web is a bit wider than no, so it's about 5 feet. Yeah, okay. I'm just doing the calculation here in my head. How long it's going to take to run me rounds? It's going to take about 8 rounds for the web to burn away completely.
Alright.
And you do not hear any screams during any of that time.
Okay.
There's now smoke down here.
Yes. Alright, so we have a bit of obscurity now.
Yes.
I am going to have my owl come back into existence, sit on my shoulder, and I want to listen
Okay.
for any kind of movement.
Okay.
That will be a 14.
Okay, you hear no movement.
Anyway, we need to investigate this a bit more.
Yep.
We can't drag this guy with us, so leave your cat here as an alert.
Yep.
Tell her to let you know if anyone comes down a different way. And I think we should head down the corridor.
Alright. Stealthily?
Yes, well, it doesn't make any difference. I'm going to pick up my light spell when I get there.
Yep, which is still going, because it is not concentration, it has not been an hour, and you haven't cast another one yet.
Yep, so I'm going to stick it back on the end of my staff,
Yeah.
hold my staff in front of us, and we will quietly head down here for what it's worth.
Okay. Well, the area we're in is heavily obscured, but there's a light source, so it does cancel out.
Yeah.
So it is a straight roll for you, though, fortunately, for us.
Midland, 8.
9. So,
We have a light source.
we have a light source. They vaguely know where we are. And just gonna make us. The cloud makes us slightly harder to hit as we exit. So, are we going down the entire way?
I'm going to go down and pick my light up, and then we're going to continue going. Unless something changes,
Okay.
no, we're just going to keep trying to be cautious. I'm really, really worried that an invisible assassin can do a serious amount of damage, so
Okay, so we go down this tunnel, which goes down for about 90 feet, the full length of it, before it opens up into a chamber. It has the same 10-foot tall ceiling. It widens about 30 feet, and as you're sticking your light in and looking around, it goes back about 60 feet into a vaguely rectangular room.
Is there a bunch of bodies in here?
There is furniture. There was basically like a central fire pit almost, which has been put out.
Yeah.
And there are a few coffins in here. About 4.
Okay.
And there's no one else that we see.
That's not good. Do I see any other exits from this room?
None. So, either they're still here, or there's a secret passage.
Yes. Well, nothing I can do here except investigate the room.
Okay.
I'm going to, as carefully as possible, search this room. Looking for...
Okay.
Well, I'm going to wave my staff back and forth because I'm thinking there's going to be something invisible here.
Yeah.
I'm going to do it at various heights. I'm going to try and, like I said, be as thorough as possible.
Mm-hmm.
So this is only a 10-foot tall ceiling, you said?
Yes.
So that's not going to help at all. I'm going to be as cautious as I can.
Do you want me to stay by the exit to this chamber, basically?
Guard it, basically?
Yeah. Or do you want me to give you advantage with investigating?
And we'll forego the advantage.
Alright. Well, unfortunately, that means you're making this investigation check at disadvantage because I assume you're searching the room for an invisible person.
Well, I'm searching, also just searching the room.
Okay. Well, okay.
I'll roll the disadvantage. We'll
Yeah,
see what
it has to, because that's just how it wants to go here, I'm afraid.
Okay, well, there was a 19 involved in that, but the lower number is a 5 plus 6, so that's 11.
11. Okay. Well, you were able to thoroughly search the room,
Okay.
which is mostly just... It's basically just a small attempt to have almost like a guard room, for all intents and purposes.
Yeah.
Or like an area where they store... And there are indeed... The coffins are full of bodies. There's a body in each of them.
Yeah.
I'd like you to roll a medicine check as well.
22.
Okay. Well, you're just investigating and sniffing the air. A scent catches your... Which is... They are decomposing bodies. But they've had formaldehyde applied to them.
Someone's preserving dead bodies?
Yes. Someone wants to keep these bodies from deteriorating too much by the looks of it.
I know very little about necromancy,
Yes.
but is there an arcane reason to do this?
Roll an Arcana check on top then. Yep.
12.
There are indeed various magical purposes for involving necromancy, keeping a body intact. Specifically, animating the dead usually isn't one of them, but speaking to the dead, you usually have to keep the body relatively intact. However, you just got the baseline for this. There is a spell called Gentle Repose in the necromancy school that facilitates that exact purpose for preserving the bodies, and would preserve it not more effectively than formaldehyde, but definitely cheaper. You wouldn't need to use as much formaldehyde as you would with the spell.
Well, that is a wizard spell.
Yeah.
But definitely not one that I would get involved in. A thought occurs to me here. 2 thoughts, actually.
Mm-hmm.
First off, are any of these bodies from the monastery?
Roll an intelligence check to see if you remember bodies you glanced at briefly. This is a high DC.
24.
24. That is high enough. It was going to be a 20. Not one of these bodies is from the monastery. Based on the coffins, these have definitely been taken out of the cemetery.
The other thing I want to check for is one of these bodies pretending to be a body. Is one of these...
What did you roll in your medicine check? It was high.
It was high, but I don't know if it broke 20 or not. I don't remember.
We'll have you roll a fresh one because I don't remember what it was either.
Yeah, it's not going to be that high anymore. I know that, but... so that'd be a 19.
19, that's still pretty good. You've dealt with undead before, and so you know when to try and look for if a body is moving or not, in even the faintest way. And a living person trying to play dead has to have a great amount of control over their metabolism and breathing and that sort of thing. You think these are very much just corpses.
Alright, and during this entire search, I didn't locate an invisible person.
No.
And there's no egress from this room.
Not that you found.
Alright, I get you to come over. We need to do a more thorough search.
Alright, so I'm going with my assistance, I come over,
Yep.
and we can do a straight roll investigation check.
Straight roll?
Straight roll, yes, because you are with disadvantage involving
12.
12. Oh, okay, all together?
Yeah.
Okay, this. Alright, we are searching the room, we go through it with a fine tooth comb, and we do find one thing.
What's that?
And that is we see footprints in the sand.
Okay, heading in any particular direction?
Yes, towards the exit.
Way out?
Yes, the way out. They are not appearing in the sand though as we watch them. We've been searching for about a few moments and then we come to the trail. So we think that they may have managed to get past us.
Alright, head back out to where the guy I stashed was.
Okay, you go out there?
Yeah.
He's still there.
Do I hear anything?
Hang on, there's going to be one roll that has to be...
Because they have to go up the ladder, right?
He has to go up the ladder, yes, and that's not the only problem. There's the distance. We noticed this. He went up. No. Okay, roll your check. I was just doing the math in my head for how far he could move around.
17.
You hear the sound of the door above move slightly. As if... Just... That's it.
The chances of catching this person is getting really, really tiny at this point.
Yes, because since the time... It's been probably about 20 minutes since the start of the fight when the invisibility spell was cast.
Alright. So they're still invisible for another
40.
40 minutes.
And if that was them just making it outside...
But they could be anywhere now.
Yeah.
I don't think they're dumb enough to hang around, but... Alright. I am going to tie a rope around our... Oh, it's already a rope.
He's tied up, yeah.
Yeah, I am going to use that rope now to hoist it up the ladder.
Make a strength check
With your help.
with my assistance for all it's worth.
It's worth something.
It's worth an extra d20, apparently.
Six.
Okay. We can do it. It's not going to be quick. It's not going to be quiet. But we can manage it.
Probably going to hurt him in the process. I have to re-stabilize him.
You didn't roll a 1.
Hmm?
You did not roll a 1, so...
One of them was a 1. Probably yours. Alright, we get him up.
We get him up. It is a lengthy process. I'm going to say it's probably going to take us with that roll 5 minutes to get him up the ladder.
Yeah.
But we manage it.
Alright. This contract only involved getting information.
Yes, we have...
We have a witness.
We have a perpetrator, probably, in all likelihood. So yes, we can definitely attempt to close this contract if that's what you're after.
At this point, it might be our only real option unless, of course, we run into them on the way back. Alright, I don't want to carry this bugger the whole way. I'm going to attempt to revive him.
You're just going to wake him up, basically.
Yeah, he's at 0, right? Or 1?
He's stabilized, which means
He's at 8 hit point?
No, stabilized means you're at 0 hit points, but you're not dying.
Okay, I'm going to try and, without wasting a potion on this bugger, get him on his feet.
Okay. You know he's going to wake up on his own in 3 hours and 35 minutes.
Yes, that's too long from now.
You can make another medicine check to try and stabilize him. Sorry, to get him on his feet.
Never mind.
No?
I'm going to waste a healing potion on this guy.
Okay. You pour a healing potion down his throat. Roll 2d4 plus 2.
What a waste. Oh, can I give him one of yours? I want to keep mine, because I made mine. I'll pay you for it.
Sure. I'll give him one of the ones I got from Wendell.
Alright, hold on a second. Actually, no, give him one of the ones we found. I like keeping the ones we buy and the ones I make.
I gave him one of the potions that we may have found at some point. I don't remember. By this point.
Alright, so he now has 7 hit points.
Alright. He's at 7 hit points. He comes to consciousness.
Tied up.
Tied up. How well did we tie that is the question now.
Oh, he's lashed thoroughly because we had to haul him up on the stairs.
Yeah.
He can try and escape, but we're going to have, wands and spells pointed at him.
He is going to attempt...
You're going to die. That's what I say to him.
Is he going... Alright, I'm going to roll an intelligence check for him. One moment. That's a natural 20. If only he rolled that before you cast the web spell. I did have him roll an intelligence check to see if he was going to run in and fight you or not. He only saw you alone and saw you were unarmored and thought you were an easy target.
Yep.
So he's not moving.
Well, yes, he is. We're walking.
You're going to untie his legs.
Well, he's going to be thoroughly tied, like the upper part of him, but his legs have to be free, yes.
Okay.
And we have a leash, basically, on him.
Okay.
We have the rope, and you and I are both holding that. So, and I have a wand pointed at him.
Okay.
So if you try to run, you're going to make it 10 feet, and you're going to die.
Yeah, 7 hit points. Yeah, that's probably very accurate.
Yeah. So...
Magic Missile can
we're
very
going for a
easily
walk.
do 7 damage.
Yeah. We're going for a walk, and you're going to behave yourself, right?
He doesn't say much, but isn't putting up much of a fight either.
Alright, we're going to start walking back.
Okay. So, I guess...
I'll fly ahead, because I want to keep an eye out for... Well, the giant and the dwarf, and possibly any sort of disturbance in the grass or bush from an invisible person.
Alright. Your owl can make a perception check.
That'll be a 17, and with disadvantage, 16.
Alright. Oh, wait, 16. Right. That's enough. Yeah, okay, L just surveying does notice some movement in the tall grass around here as we are approaching the gate. Basically,
As we're approaching the gate.
I'm proceeding in front with the rope
Yeah.
tied to.
So right around here then.
No, not that far. We're approaching it though.
Oh,
Yeah,
we're up
coming
here.
out of there. Yep.
Yeah, okay.
So when we're about halfway there, I'm holding onto the leash as you described it,
Yep.
dragging him behind me, him going between us and you pointing a wand at him. Your owl notifies you that you are being followed by something that cannot be seen that is making a slight disturbance in the tall grass, which it can pick up with its perception.
How far away from you is it?
About 20 feet back, so just past the tree line at this point.
Okay, slow down a little bit, waiting for that disturbance to be 15 feet behind me.
Okay.
Hopefully not giving away the fact that I am doing anything untoward. And then I'm going to spin around and cast Burning Hands at that disturbance.
You are going to cast Burning... Alright, you roll around,
Yep.
bring your hands together, and unleash a gout of flame
Yep.
in that direction. Alright, dexterity saving throw.
Oh, that's a good Burning Hands.
That's an 18 on the save, though.
And a 14 total, so they save 7 points of damage, but they're on fire. I can see them now.
You see that they dodge back and the flames catch, and you see the flames, but you don't actually hear much pain. For some reason, your flames do not do as much damage as you thought.
They saved, so they only took like maybe 3 points of damage with resistance. But I see a target.
You see some clothing which is on fire. Yes.
Shall we go for initiative?
There. Well, before you do that, you hear a voice come out and says, "Stop! Stop! I'm not trying to hurt you."
From the direction I just flamed?
Yes. That.
If that's the case, drop your invisibility.
The spell fades and you see him patting out the flames, though. You see, he's fairly similarly dressed to the other ones have. He has a dark cloak, he's got some stout leather armor. He has a crossbow, which is stowed, and also a dagger. And you notice what looks quite a lot like a component pouch, like the one I carry.
Yeah, well, he did cast invisibility.
Yes. Well, you know there are some rogues that dabble in magic.
Yes.
And they tend to have a perchance.
Explanations are necessary before I'm pointing a wand at him.
Yes.
So, explanations, please.
And it says, "I work for the town council. Is that enough of a start of an explanation?"
Then if that's the truth, you don't mind coming with us, because that's where we're heading.
Yes. Roll a persuasion check with advantage. Because it is the truth, and you're doing it from a very strong point at this point.
Unfortunately, I have no persuasion, so that's a 12.
That's good enough. It's like... very well. It says, let's go then.
Alright. We head back through the gate.
If this leads any credulity to his statement, the individual we have tied up literally just because only weapon available bites out at him and goes, "You lying snake! You betrayed us just for this?" He says, "Alright, calm down for a moment. First of all, I did not betray you. I was never on your side. I was sent to infiltrate and investigate what's going on, so this could prove interesting." He says, "Listen, I will die before I give away my secrets." He says, "I will not, you know that my guild never betrays our clients." He says, "Perhaps not, perhaps you won't, but there are 2 others involved in this case, those who may not be so loyal." He says, and once we get inside, it can be very easy. The watch can be very easily informed to bring them around. It says, "Sorry, Lawrence, but you were never quite pleasant to be around. It says, your condition notwithstanding, be careful with this one," he says to you, both of us.
And he is get scratched by or bitten from?
Avoid the teeth, he says, yes.
Yeah. Alright.
Let's just say Lawrence's nickname, the Rat, is not...
He's a lycanthrope? Do I get that feeling from him?
You can...
Arcana check? Lycanthrope? Is that a...
It is a curse, so yes.
22?
22, that's very high. Now that you look at him, he does kind of have aspects, even in humanoid form, lycanthropes tend to have some residual resemblance to the creatures that they turn into in their hybrid form. And there's something vaguely rat-like about his appearance. But that's the best you can get from that, because...
Alright, it's fine. That's enough. I suspect we should get him somewhere secure then.
Yes. He's well restrained at the moment, and you do have... With that roll, you would know that, well, A, we hit him only with spells, which lycanthropes have no immunities to.
Yeah.
So the easiest way to check would be to try and hit him with a non-magical, non-silvered weapon, which he should be completely immune to harm from. But
Take my dagger and I stab him.
it doesn't penetrate his hide, his skin. It doesn't break the skin, despite the fact, even when you just stab right at bare skin. He does seem to possess immunity to that fits with lycanthropes, in his case, were-rats.
Alright.
So yes, the bite emotion was, was the only thing he had left to fight with, right?
Yeah. Alright, let's get him to the watch house.
He says, actually, it might be better if we take him straight to the council.
Oh, alright.
Alright.
Let's do so then.
Alright. So, we head back into town.
Through the gate.
Our new friend does stop two watch officers, by the way, and has a brief conversation with them. Describes the two remaining members of the group, and tells them that they should be they should be on the lookout for them, and they should be apprehended, taken alive if possible. But they should. These two are very. He describes them as being a dwarf who was exiled from his clan. It says, and the other muscle is a large half ogre.
Yeah.
With a glaive.
Dude.
Yeah.
Alright. On we go.
On we go. We go to back to the town square of the core. And we come to a rather large and ornate building.
Yes.
And we're taken inside. And our new friend, who is a tiefling, by the way, which explains the fire resistance.
Yep.
I forgot to mention that, but it's fine. Now we can give it up.
Figure we get around to it.
Yeah, goes over and talks, brings someone over and says, this is about the grave robbing incidents. These two have been able to assist me in dealing with matters. Says,
Hey, what happened to the word instrumental? I heard that. Downgraded from instrumental to assisting.
says,
We're sidekicks all of a sudden.
says, this is one of them. Please inform. It says, please inform. And he seems to pause for a second and look. He says, yes. Please inform Sir Riordan that we should meet and discuss this. Please try, and yes, and please. He says, you see him put some coin into the clerk's hand subtly. Try not to inform any of the others about this yet.
Insight check.
Alright, roll an insight check. Actually, I'd probably roll that too. What'd you roll?
Never mind.
Bad? 2? Oh.
Total.
Well, I rolled better, but it's still only an 8. So, yeah. He's a sneaky individual.
Yeah. Kind of gathered that.
But he hasn't led us wrong yet.
Emphasis on that last word.
Yep.
Okay.
Alright.
You don't really have much choice. This is what we're going to do anyway.
So, we are led up to basically looks more or less like a... we go up a tower, basically, for a bit of ways.
Yeah.
And we come to a room, which once we're allowed in, and we are, all 4 of us are going in,
Yeah.
including our prisoner. We come to what looks like a study with a view out of the window with a telescope set up there, which you actually, now that you think about it, is why this room looks vaguely familiar. Because you've spotted it from the opposite end with an owl.
So this is the wizard dude.
You see a dark-skinned male half-elf stand there and turns... He's of indeterminate age because he's a half-elf. He's wearing glasses, has fine clothes of dark silk, has a short beard, and apart from that, looks very plain. Just looks like an... He says, Samal, I see you've succeeded on your...
Excuse me?
or mission, it says, and I take it these are the 2 who have... are 2 local adventurers we have to thank for also aiding in the matter.
The word is instrumental. I think you're looking for.
And he says, guards, and there are 2 guards that come in, says, please take Sir Lawrence down to a... He just needs to be afraid of that. A...
Is he from Arabia?
No. This is to one of the private accommodations. And the 2 guards come in, take him by the leash that we just give him. They don't untie him or anything, and just take him down. And
they're mark a rope off my thing.
it says, it can be returned to you, you needn't worry.
That's fine. I don't care. I didn't say that aloud anyway.
Yeah. The door is closed. So, here we are at last. You've had quite the eventful few days here.
Is that to us?
Yes.
Interesting. I said, well, I do recall you having took interest in our arrival.
It was an unusual method of entrance, though I just like to be kept apprised of the situation more than anything else. I often like to keep an eye out, as it were, for newcomers and fresh talent.
Well, I know the feeling, and at that I just have my owl up here on my shoulder. I like to keep an eye out as well. Because I'm pretty sure he's going to recognize the owl because he saw the owl fly up to his window.
Yep, you think he does, you're pretty sure he does, but he doesn't really make a show of it.
That's fine. Then I'll have her fade out again.
He says, well, we'll have to wait for the other 2 to have been caught, but I think for the most part, thanks to you and Samal here, we can consider this case mostly closed.
Besides motivation.
He says, yes. He says, Samal, were you able to find anything about that? He says, the tiefling man, Samal, turns and says, as far as I'm aware, they were being paid by a high-ranking member in the Society of Vyrn's run to unearth the bodies, transport them to their little hideout for safekeeping, preserve them with formaldehyde, and await instructions. Eventually, One delivery was made. A cart came in just a covered wagon, no identificating markers, figures in dark cloaks. Put the coffins they could carry in there, into the cart, and came back into town. And that was as far as I'm aware. And they were meant to be expecting another delivery, another attempt to get the remaining ones some other time. Apparently, that Orog, the half-ogre, managed to find a bunch of other fresh corpses. And it says, based on the markings I saw on one of them, on an amulet one of them, where I believe it was the monastery, the Aquans that is out in the woods.
That's precisely where they came from.
So, we are left with no solid evidence towards who is responsible for these events. It says.
Well, there are ways of finding out that kind of information.
It says, there are. It says. But whoever is playing this game is doing it quite well at the moment.
Do you think Sir Lawrence knows who's paying them?
It is possible, and the sir is mostly just, I suppose, manners.
That's fine. My friend and I have a way of seeing if he knows more, without, not nefarious, just a probe to see what knowledge he has.
Then by all means, says Samal, show them down to the accommodations that Lawrence will be residing in.
Do you have tech thoughts prepared?
I do, yes.
I
do.
Alright.
It's one of the reasons I don't have any of my new spells prepared, is because I wanted to keep all my second level spells prepared I currently have.
Alright, let's burrow into this guy's brain.
Alright, so we're led down a series of corridors which seem to be purposely left almost unused for all intents and purposes. And we go down definitely below the ground floor into what is basically a 10 by 10 square room, which is divided in half with a set of bars.
Right.
There's a guard on one side, and there's Lawrence on the other, having all of his armor and other possessions taken from him.
Alright.
Okay.
There you go. Let's see what this idiot knows.
Alright, I will take out the copper piece I need, flick into the air, catch it, and speak the incantation to cast Detect Thoughts.
Give him a terrible saving throw, by the way.
He doesn't have to save for the initial part, but yeah, I can do that.
Oh, you're digging in. We want to know everything he knows.
Okay, well, in that case, it can't get much worse than the 2 I have here for a portent.
Yeah.
It has a could, but not by much. Alright, Lawrence, your wisdom save is pathetic. So that's a 2, with no modifier.
Okay, so, have a dig.
Alright, let's...
Guy knows.
I'm going to just bring up my copy of the spell here, my spell book. Detect Thoughts, yep, so I'm doing the full probing effect. Actually, the surface thoughts, yep. So I learned this, which is mostly just bitterness. You can delve deeper as an action, the creature. Yep. Mentals, yep. Yeah, you learn its motive mental state in something which looms large in its mind. Alright. So he definitely knows I'm here. He's failed to save. Let's see. How much does Lawrence know? Now is the question.
Is he just a flunky?
It's going to take probably more than just one round for me to assimilate all this information. So he is going to get an attempt to roll a contested roll against me, but I have one more portent to call upon.
Yeah.
So I'm going to use the 6 I have. Alright, so 6 plus 2 is 8. So I have to beat an 8 on this roll. Just intelligence. I did. It was a 5, but I get to add 5, so 10.
Right. Okay.
Alright, so I'm able to stave off his first attempt to force me out of his mind. Alright?
Alright.
Alright, gonna go one more round.
I'll roll for Sir Lawrence, you roll for yourself.
It's not Sir, by the way, but yeah.
Yeah,
So add 2 to whatever you roll.
add 2 to whatever I roll?
Yes, it's an intelligence check.
That makes it an 11.
16. I rolled an 11 on the die, so.
Alright.
Alright, and I said, alright.
3 rounds in his brain.
3 rounds, and I said, alright, I think I've got everything I can from him.
Does he know anything?
He does. Unfortunately, he doesn't know exactly who he's working for. He suspects it's a member of the town council, though.
So that's no more information than we already have.
No, he was paid by an informant to do this job, hired by it. He was hired to come along to provide his expertise as an assassin to make sure to aid the grave robbers, who are the other two, and to provide his stealth skills.
Does he know the name of the person that was paying him?
He does not know the name of the person paying him. It was an informant who was using an alias to try and
Alright.
was just paid to do that and set the entire thing up. He knows it's based on the premises that the bodies had to. It was massively important that the bodies were preserved as best as possible. And they were being considered contraband for all intents and purposes. They were cargo for being ferried in and out of town. The entire purpose of them going out of town in the first place was to try and to draw attention away from Vyrn's run.
Alright.
Samal says, well, that's a bit more information than we had.
Yeah.
So Reardon will definitely be happy to know that.
Well, there is a possible way of getting more information about this, or actually identifying the council member is still possible.
Not through detect thoughts, I say.
You'd be surprised. So go back up the council members' chambers.
We haven't been in the council, so back to Sir Reardon's.
Yeah, his place.
Okay. Yes?
Yes, okay. The rat doesn't know anything. Well, not enough, anyway. But I have a suggestion.
Okay. You have a session? He's listening?
Well, at some point, this is going to come to the general council's attention, I assume.
Yes, we can't keep this under wraps forever, but we are going to try and keep this quiet. Obviously, the other council members will have to be informed, but as far as the public is going to be aware, 4 bodies are going to be returned to being interred, and the case is going to be brought to a close. And you will, of course, be rewarded for your services.
And is it possible for us to be nearby when you inform them of all this?
It is, yes.
Well, if we have detect thoughts going at that time, we might be able to get
Okay, I say I have to within 30 feet. It lasts a minute, so I can scry each of them surface thoughts easily without being detected.
Yep, and then someone might be upset about the fact that this is a plan that's gone awry. It'd be just not concrete evidence.
No, but I could try delving deeper might be a problem. I'm pretty spent, though. I can do this once more. And then I don't have much else to do if it results in a fight, just so we're clear.
Yeah, if it turns into a fight, it'll be a fight between one council member, a whole pile of other council members, and the guards, and, well, us. So it's not exactly the kind of fight that someone's going to want to get into.
Reardon speaks this one and says, if at all possible, we should avoid open conflict.
Yeah, like I said, no digging into thoughts, just the surface thoughts. It might give you at least a narrower field to investigate.
That's worth a try. It says, but He says, he just says, I would prefer not tipping our hand at this point. I don't, it says, this is a rare opportunity for us to get a slight advantage.
So you want to save this for another day, is what you're trying to say?
No, but he doesn't want me to, he's saying he doesn't want me to probe deeper. He just wants me to try scrying surface thoughts to see if I can.
Yep.
Alright, so it's going to take some time, he says, to put this together. He says, alright, but I will. So basically, we're giving a chamber to take a short rest in at the moment for all the purposes. Just having a meal's going to be brought up, some food and water and drink, and we're going to be allowed to take a rest, which means we can use Arcane Recovery, and you can regain some hit dice because I'm at full health.
Yep. Yeah, I'll regain 2 first level spells.
Do I go for a second? Do I want to try and? I'm probably only get 1 shot at this. No, I'm going to do the smart thing and go for 2 firsts.
Regain full health, but I used 2 health hit die for that.
Yep, okay. So you're back up to full. That's good. So hopefully a fight won't break out, but if it does, we're basically as prepared as we can be. Also, Samal is going to be, Reardon points out that Samal is going to be present as well to present his evidence, obviously. So.
Yes. We're not digging anything here. We're just going to go over surface thoughts.
Yeah. So.
Unless you feel like you want to. Because I'm practically, only down 1 spell slot. I'm fine.
After I use my last second level spell to cast Detect Thoughts, I have 3 first level spell slots. So that's a bit below half, but.
Okay.
I think we should go along with. I say to you, I think we should go along with this plan for the moment and try to just avoid open conflict.
Well, we don't want to annoy our new contact here, so I agree.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, so we go in. We are shown into the council chambers. There is basically, for all intents and purposes, a slightly raised, like some steps going up to almost like a raised platform a little bit, where there's a long table, and there are 5 seats.
Did you cast the Detect Thoughts before we entered?
I'm going to do it just as we enter, yep. Alright, it only lasts a minute though, so I have to... Alright, so, in addition to Reardon, we see a male human, middle-aged human in fine black robes, completely bald.
Okay.
And he has a pointed black goatee-styled beard.
Okay.
And he is carrying a overly ornate staff of the type that you just hate.
Alright.
It is made of wood, but has been colored gold, and has a vaguely question mark shape. Basically, it has a shaft of straight wood. Then it's curves slightly up, almost like a hook shape.
Okay.
Which turns into a broad curve like a hook. And at the base of this term, there's actually a handle where the shaft and the curve meet.
Yeah.
That actually is like vaguely resembles like a saber's hilt in it. So basically, he holds it there. And at the top of said hook, hanging down, you see a bat hanging there. And based on the fact you see him walking towards this chair with it, you think he seems to walk with with a limp and seems to need the staff to aid him in that.
Alright.
Yeah. Yes, it's a very ostentatious looking staff.
Yeah.
It's bigger than he is.
Alright.
There's Reardon, who sits in the center.
He's the half elf.
He's the half elf, yep. So Reardon takes the center seat. The human in the black robes takes the seat on the far left.
Yeah.
There is also a female Firbolg woman who is very old, elderly looking by Firbolg standards, which they have an extended lifespan, not as long as elves, but she does look later in life.
Yeah.
She's walking with the aid of a cane, though unlike the first figure, you think this is probably due to age as opposed to injury.
Yeah. Okay.
And she's also walking besides with a tiefling woman in a fine dress, who just seems to be walking like one hand hands linking, basically, just walking beside her.
Okay.
Okay. There is also a, and she sits in between the first. She sits in between Reardon and the other human with the staff, the wizard.
Okay.
Another one entering is a woman with bright red skin and almost literally fiery hair,
Okay.
which is it's cut short and almost like a pixie cut, and it's slightly curving up. It actually makes it look a little almost like styled as a flame. And she's wearing very fine clothes. And you see as her just walking along and she just speaks a little bit, you actually see little, almost like puffs of smoke occasionally, or sparks almost, in her speech.
A distant cousin of yours, I think.
Of an opposite element, I say, yes, but that definitely resembles a fire genasi.
Yeah.
She takes the seat to Reardon's right.
So there's one more.
And the last individual entering is an elegant man in fine robes of a bright green. Elvish features dominate this man's face. Long white hair, but apart from that, it's just apart from the general look, he doesn't seem to give much away as everyone else. And he sits on the one at the far right. And all of them are here. And Reardon says, fellow council members, this is, you know, of course, Samal, who works for me from time to time. These are Jonas and Aquans, two young wizards who are visiting our fair city and have provided their services on a number of events as of late, including bringing this grave robbing problem to an end. And at that point, we are brought up to stand in front, and we are definitely within 30 feet. So I'm going to just yeah, that's what I'm doing for the next 24 seconds, because it takes takes an action for me to. All right, and in the meantime, you're going to be having a conversation, I guess, while I do that.
Well.
Okay, Samal basically comes forward. Yeah, Samal steps forward, presents all the evidence. Leaves out the part where you burning hands him.
And do they ask me any direct questions? If they don't, I'm just going to do a general insight check on the whole bloody panel.
All five?
Yep. Well,
all right.
Alright, all five, yeah. Let's go do an insight check to see.
Needless to say, while they're listening to the story, you have more than enough time to make this check, so you can do it.
Alright, so I'm going to use my newly acquired
advantage.
And I'm going to roll this at advantage. I want to see if anybody here is giving anything away. That was a waste of insight.
Inspiration? Was it bad?
Highest number I rolled was a 9, -1.
+1. Insight's wisdom.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, 10.
Okay. I'm not going to bother rolling, because technically you'd be rolling against what's effectively passive deception for all intents and purposes. But they're all politicians.
Yeah.
They're all proficient in deception at on some level, and it means their passive deception is above 10, I'm afraid.
Oh no, I wasn't expecting to get any of that.
No.
Just, like I said, it was one of those unfortunate things.
So the entire meeting goes over over a minute, so you know my spells run its course by that point, and but it's not too long. You notice that the furball woman never speaks herself. She always seems to whisper to the tiefling woman, who is introduced as Lilith,
Right.
and then she will basically convey whatever the furball councilwoman has to say, basically. Apart from that, you do learn each of their names, because it's a bit of a conversation. So in addition to Reardon, the human man with the goatee and the robes and the ornate staff is introduced as Master Therian, who we have actually heard of from Wendell.
Oh,
This is the wizard on the council who Wendell worked under for a little bit when he was still involved in politics, and also comments that he still occasionally buys things from his shop from time to time.
Right.
Okay, so next is Reardon. The female the Furball woman is called Phelan Darnor, and she has been the one on the council the longest of all the 4 members here.
Right.
Okay, the Fire Genasi woman is Fervor, is her name, and she introduces herself as being a retired actress who decided to go into politics.
All of a sudden we're in the States.
And the Elven man is named Ralam, and he doesn't seem to give much. He seems to speak the less. He just seems to listen, looking around.
Yeah. All
All right. So the actual meeting is only about 5 minutes long, but it seems to stretch out a little bit when you're having the conversation with
some. I'm already bored.
Yeah, but. However, we are thanked for our services, and we are going to be given a reward for this.
Some money.
Which Reardon says, "Thank you all for coming to this meeting. Please, I know this is taking you away from your other duties. I will remain and give appropriate reward to these 2 for their services. Please return to whatever you were involved in." And the other 4 get up and are going to leave and exit the room, which leaves the 4 of us in these council chambers alone for a moment. Reardon just raises his hand for just a moment for it to let them walk off basically a little bit. And then it says, "Well, it says, did we learn much from that?" And before I can speak up, someone says, "Yes, one thing I did notice." It says, "Therian had an active divination spell. Oh, it was concentrating on the entire time."
Oh.
He says, I'm fairly certain, because I was also casting the exact same spell, it was detect magic."
Oh, right.
I said, "So he's aware that I was also concentrating on a divination spell the entire time."
And so were you.
That's why I said, yes.
No.
Samal?
Not Samal. Samal was casting detect magic.
Yes. And I was casting detect thoughts. So yes, they were both well aware of the fact I was casting a divination spell that would have expired before detect magic, but that's all they know. That's all he would know at this point. He might be able to figure it out.
Yeah.
You never know. Alright. I said, "Well, my findings aren't exactly the most concrete. Fervor seemed quite pleased this was brought to a close. She mostly just seemed interested in us, most of her surface thoughts. Lady Darnor, the Firbolg, his mind is, I don't know how to word this, very chaotic. I wasn't able to get much out of her, but she seemed to be almost disinterested in these events."
Okay.
The Elven man, Ralam, seemed amused that these events had by these events, and seemed a little sad that they were gone. But it was only Therian who seemed to have any degree of frustration about the fact that this was all being brought to light.
So the stereotypical wearing black clothes and a fedora, cackling
There was no fedora.
wizard appearance is the one that is most upset about all this.
I say, I'll be honest. Once we started piecing all this together, I did honestly think that the wizard on the town council seemed the most likely candidate, because the fact that bodies were being preserved spoke to some need for them to be well intact, and that spoke to something necromancy related. So I was a little suspicious of a wizard, I say, if I'm being perfectly honest.
Can I do an Arcana check? I like magical items and that sort of fabrication thing. Can I do an Arcana check? Does that staff something that I would have come across in my studies?
You can make an Arcana check. It's going to be a high DC, but yeah, you can make it.
Yeah. Well, that might have everything. That's not this is going to be whatever this roll is.
Yeah.
That will be a 22.
That's fairly high. That's enough to be a partial success. Alright. There's all sorts of magic stabs you've heard about in research. The shape was quite unique, and you admittedly didn't have detect magic going, so you didn't sense any of its magic from it.
This, our buddy there had detect magic going.
He did, yes. He knows that that staff is indeed magical. As far as from basically from that role and everything we're able to understand, as far as we know, Therian has had that for his entire tenure in Vyrn's run and on the council. He mostly does use it as a means of helping him walk around because his knee was badly damaged in his youth and never healed properly. So he needs to support himself. But the staff is magical, and as far as everyone's aware, and on the roll you just rolled, you think it's definitely something he created himself. So whatever magic it is capable of doing would be very personal to him.
School of Magic, did he get that?
It was a bit outside the School of Magic because some enchanted items are.
Yeah. Alright. It was a shot in the dark anyway.
It is. So, Reardon says, Therian is our most likely culprit then, and he is also likely aware that we are suspicious of him.
Well, it's not entirely true because you have still, I think, two possibilities. I mean, the most disinterested is not necessarily innocent. So, the one on the far end there,
We're talking about the Elven Man? The Elvish Man?
Yes.
Ralam?
Yes. He was slightly annoyed.
He was amused by the events and was somewhat annoyed that they were ending.
That does not sound to me like a automatic, oh, he's not involved.
No.
Like, that's,
I said, based on what I just basically from what I gleaned from all of them, I'm pretty sure we can safely say Fervor isn't involved. She seemed quite pleased these dark events were coming to. I have absolutely no idea about the Furbog woman. Her mind was very hard to get anything out of.
Yeah, but it's not the kind of mind that would get involved in something like this, I don't think. Just from what I
It's like
gather, that's kind of chaotic mind is just not something that wants to get involved in necromancy.
no, very, very. It's like there's something. There was something almost not actively fighting against my spell, but it was very hard for me to get much out of her.
Yeah, wow. Could simply just be age.
It could be. She's quite old.
Alright.
So, one of two then, I suppose.
One of two. I mean, the problem is the thing that bothers me the most is the guy who's dressing the part just seems too bloody obvious to me, you know what I mean?
Yes, so we are having this conversation between the two of us, admittedly, and before that. But it's like, it's great. It says, yes, obviously a further investigation is called for. I may call upon you two again to assist in that, if you are willing to.
Oh, obviously.
It says,
We are busybodies.
it says,
I'm actually kind of trusting you here a little bit, but there's some information I think you should have.
it says,
In your midst is a sorceress.
one of the Court of the Seven.
Ah, you're familiar with them.
Yes, it says, I have a number of agents who assist me in trying to keep Vyrn's run working. It says, and when a very powerful sorceress with a god complex moves into my city, I definitely learn about it quickly.
Well, their activities involve trying to, well, not destroy, but definitely take the place that we came from under their rule.
Yes.
They managed to fend off that, and there is, like I said, a sorceress in town here now, and I want to let you know is we can't let her leave.
So that is another. He says,
We'll try
will
to
you
keep
require
collateral damage to a minimum.
since her removal would definitely be in the good for the city, and not far removed from my own plans, will you be requiring assistance with her elimination?
Certainly wouldn't turn down any help, because the quicker we deal with her, the less chance for other damage.
Town guards are unlikely to be able to provide much assistance, but Samal here is magically talented, and I have a few other, and perhaps I might be able to find another who can assist you in the matter, if nothing else.
We know where she is, we know when she's leaving, and we definitely need to deal with her, because she's bad news, not just for you, but for us.
Says, yes, I know how the Court of the Seven handles things, and it's usually enslavement by force, or religion.
Yeah. And so, like I said, she needs to be dealt with, and we only have probably about 2-3 days at the outside before she leaves, and then things are just going to get a lot worse for everybody.
The one advantage I can say in regards to that is she seems to be somewhat comfortable here, so she might remain a day or more longer than you expect.
Well, if you can figure out what forces you can bring to bear on this, we can give it another day. I'm confident with a day, because she.
Yes.
Well, I will give him some more information here, and I'll explain to him my little disguise spell and who I disguise myself as, and fill him in on the conversation.
Needless to say, they're actually he's already rather impressed with the two of us, but this actually makes you go up a little bit in his estimations, because you were not only able to find him when he was following us, but that's very difficult to pull off, and he's impressed by that.
Bonus!
He says, yes, and you two both seem to be quite tired for the day, so I believe we should leave it at that for the moment. He says, but we'll deal with her. He says, we should likely deal with her first. If for no other reason, he says, we might be able to use Master Therian to help deal with her.
No. Him I do not trust. She has contacts, by the way, from what our conversation with her, in your council.
That is
from
expected.
what I gathered, it was not singular, it was contacts. So, some people have plans.
Yes, it is. I've dealt with sorcerers before, and one from the Court of the Seven. They can be quite persuasive, regardless of the means.
Yeah, so definitely something that needs to be dealt with. But like I said, we'll give it a day, maybe even a little bit longer. But
And all that really remains then is the nature of your reward. And he snaps his fingers, and the door opens, and someone brings in a chest. This was set aside for anyone who was willing to bring us information about the grave robbing incident. Since you have helped solve it, I've had a bit added to it as well.
yeah,
You may take this as your reward, and know that you have definitely proven yourselves to be a valuable service to Vyrn's Run.
more than pleased to deal with things like this.
Right. So, in addition to... So there's a chest full of what basically amounts to 500 gold pieces worth.
So it's a total of $750 for the day.
Yes.
Cool.
Which I'm going to just... $375 each.
Yep. Please tell me you didn't use your calculator on your screen.
It's late, but yes, I did.
All right, $375 a piece.
Yes. Not quite back to where we were, but it's better.
Close.
Yep. Right. And then we are going to leave the town council chambers. And because we didn't get a room at the Platinum Dragon Inn, I suspect we're going back to the Whippoorwill again.
I think staying at the Platinum Dragon would be a bad idea at this point.
So we've agreed to the fact that between assassins and a sorceress with a guard complex, we'll take the assassins.
Yeah.
Alright, so we head back to the Platinum Dragon, the Whippoorwill for a much needed rest, and that's where we're going to be calling it tonight.
On the way back,
you have one more thing to say?
a few more seconds. I want to check in at all the billboards that I left messages on the way back.
Oh, okay.
See if I got any responses.
This is going to be a dice roll to see if she's...
Yeah.
They are all still there, I'm afraid, at the moment. Has only been a day.
That's okay, I just want to check on the way back.
Yeah.
Alright.
And
that covers everything.
That covers everything, and we'll leave it there for tonight.
Right.
Thank you for watching, everyone. Please remember to like and subscribe. We hope you enjoyed this, as we are building up to quite a few important plot threads. Yeah.
We're building up to something.
We're building up to something. We could have possibly taken on the next Court of the Seven Sorcerer today, but we didn't. We'll definitely be getting to that in short order. And after that, we might have someone who might prove to be even worse.
You never know.
Also, we might find out. Also, we'll probably run into Bree shortly, if all works out.
I'm hoping she shows up soon.
Yep. So, thank you for watching, and we'll see you all again next time. Bye.